Hey everyone. Yeah, I'm sorry this one's a day late, guys. I kind of completely forgot that we were getting like pretty much two One Piece episodes, not just one. So yeah, sorry. That's the reason this one's a little late. But okay, so just jumping right into it, compared to the last episode, which really hit the ground running, this episode, while having a lot of great moments and one hell of an explosive ending, was much more mellowed out and reserved, mostly focusing on putting all the pieces on the board and seeing the Straw Hats' plan put into motion for the inevitable point when everything blows up in their faces with Kizaru's arrival at the end. And while I'm not going to say the animation was amazing or insane, it did still feel like it had a consistent quality to it when going from the last episode to this one, which, if you know what's coming next episode, it does feel like a fair trade-off since, again, next episode is going to be the one where shit pops off completely. And I really want to this is one of those episodes where I really want to be a fly on the wall to see the production of how the production of these first two episodes played out, because the fact that they were released on a back-to-back weekend schedule does make me think that these first two episodes had a relatively decent production cycle and were actually finished maybe a couple months to maybe a month or so, like even before the anime officially returned. Like it just kind of feels like that's the case. Now, and maybe even and possibly even the third episode as well. Now, in saying that, let's talk about something I failed to mention with the last episode, and that's the new opening and ending we get. And starting with the opening, I've seen the new opening is interesting because over the years I've seen a lot of people like talk about certain openings in One Piece in the regard that certain openings have more of an ending vibe to them that they do an opening. But honestly, for the most part, the ones people say feel more like an ending still get away with being an opening to me. This opening though, there is so much about this one that has the pure vibe of an ending, but in a lot of ways that's kind of makes it work for me because what happens in the entire second half of Egghead, because only because of what happens in the entire second half of Egghead, like I'm not gonna, and again I'm not gonna give away spoilers, but let's just say if like this entire second half is basically just gonna keep hitting you, keep hitting you, keep hitting you, keep hitting you, like in every emotion you have without even being able to process half the time what you're feeling. Like I'm just saying that right now. This second half is going to hurt you very emotionally, and you're not even going to have time to process half of it. Uh, whereas with the ending, while the song choice feels more like a traditional opening, it does still work well with the visuals in hammering into you that yeah, this is truly Bonnie's story. Like as much as the Straw Hats are a part of this and Vegapunk is, like at the heart of it, it is Bonnie's story that's being told. Now, in saying that, I guess the one thing we should talk about is Bonnie's sudden heel turn and how she suddenly is more chipper, optimistic, and no longer wanting to kill Vegapunk in this episode. And unfortunately, all I can say about that, without again going into spoiler territory, is this part of the arc is going to be doing a lot of forward and backward jumping in the timeline of events. And one thing that will be showcased through that is going to be how Bonnie reconciled with Vegapunk by learning the truth of what really happened to Kuma. And I also gotta say, I don't know what it is, but there's something about the way the anime handles this kind of time jumping that feels more digestible than whenever Oda does it in the manga. And I don't mean to throw shade at Oda for this, but something about the way he transitions from with these very same jumps in timeline can feel a little jarring, and even in some cases give me a bit more even more of a whiplash than the anime does. Um, so yeah, on already like again, I gotta give a little praise to the anime there. Like they do make a lot of they are making a lot of what is gonna happen. Already making a lot of what's gonna happen in the second half of the arc feel more lipid or kind of like feel smoother in terms of the pacing. In saying that, I absolutely loved the conversation between Borsellino and Saturn near the end of this episode. Like the way like Borsellino hides it well, but hides it will, but you can tell there's so much about what Borsellino's saying to Saturn about choosing to confront Sentamaru that just speaks so much about his character, and that however much he is allowing himself, however much he always allows himself to be a puppet of the government, he's still firmly holding on to beliefs and principles he personally holds close to his chest. Like, there's still a piece of sentimentality he holds towards people like Sentamaru and Vegapunk versus Saturn and the other elders who basically who've discarded all human emotional attachment. Like, it's like to basically the I'll, again, credit to Oda on this one. I've never been a, like, of all the admirals, like Kizaru Borsellino, he's always been my least favorite, mostly because he just feels like the most stock standard Marine out of all of them. Even for as much as I hate Akainu Sakazuki, there's at least like a personality there I can kind of attach myself to. With Borsellino, he's just kind of always been there. So, but what Oda did with, so again, credit to Oda. What Oda had done with Kizaru in this arc actually made me really love his character, and I think out of the original three admirals, like Kizaru, like Akainu, Kizaru, Aokiji, like, I think he really kind of made it to my, like, number one favorite of the original three admirals with this, after this arc. But again, I won't go into spoilers why, but just again, we're getting sneak peeks of what's to come with his character in this arc. With that said, this episode had a lot of small little moments I really liked that I never really thought much about when reading the manga. For example, the scene with Doberman questioning Saturn about how everyone and everything other than Vegapunk's research is expendable, and him saying, but what about the innocents? Shouldn't we save them? Like, small, like, it's small, while it is a small moment, it's really an interesting moment in the sense of showing the cracks are starting to be revealed even at the high levels of military command, and even those staunchly loyal to the world government, while probably not going to change anything radical about the current trajectory of this arc, it is a little nugget of information that we'll likely see more and more of as the story progresses, and also really showing just how callous someone like Saint Saturn is. Like, again, the man has just no emotional attachment to, he just thinks of everyone else as below him, like, truly. And it's probably a sentiment every one of those old bastards share. So yeah, just fuck the elders. Another moment I really like, though, is Nami beating York's ass for her comments about Ohara and whatnot, because even though for Robin, at this point in her life, she's like, it's fine, I have all of you at my side, I'm not afraid. That's what she feels at this point. It's still a really good moment for Nami in showing one of the most consistent things with her character I feel people do tend to overlook a bit, that however much she can be greedy and act like a little cowardly like Usopp, at the end of the day, when she has the opportunity to stick up for any of her crew and the chips are down, she's going to do it. And just more generally, it was super satisfying seeing York getting beat around by the Straw Hats. Like, I love that in the manga, and it will never not be funny. It's even more funny here. On a more serious note, though, one moment that definitely stuck out is the one where you see Lucci kind of mentally taking stock of the situation, showing, yeah, he's still a potential threat. And I think more than anything, the thing I appreciate the most about this episode is how it does have a calm before the storm vibe, and how it balanced being kind of fun and lighthearted, but also still kind of reinforcing that serious overtone of the situation at hand. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Blue Sky, NLS Crunchyroll. Be sure to notification bell, hit the subscribe button, and just share the video around, guys. Dark Knight of Anime signing off. Later, everyone.